Welcome to DWBI Adda channel. Please subscribe for latest training videos.
Hello and welcome to the session on the multiple linear regression. Here we would like to understand how to build a model for a given data set. Let me explain the problem statement once. We have a data set in which we are trying to predict the price of the house. There are different independent variables and we will try to take this data as our basis and try to predict the price of a house for a given data set. Alright, so let's start with the different steps which we normally practice. For any given model, the very first step would be to split the dataset into training and testing, so that we'll have the same dataset and we will have different records out of the same dataset. Some of the records will go to the training and others will go to the testing. Usually we split it into 70-30 ratio. 70% of the data for the training and 30% for the testing. So I take all the attributes, all the independent attributes out to one variable, which is x, and the dependent attribute to y. I build 4 data frames: x train, x test, y train, y test, and I try to split them into 70-30 ratio. So I have 70% of the data in x train and 30 in x test, and 70 in y train and 30 in y test. Let's try to build a model out of it. Okay, so I do a model. I do x train is equal to add a constant x train, right? And now I build a linear model out of it, linear regression model. Now let's take the summary. Let's see what the model is and how the model is performing basically. Okay, I see the value of the R square, which is the mean square error, which is 0.67. Remember, it can be 1 at the max and 0 the lowest. 0.67 is pretty good score, and the adjusted R square is 0.67 and the regular R square is 0.68. No much difference between both of them. Okay, I will like to compare the p-values of all the attributes. I would like to see which is the one which is high, because I know the higher the p-value, the lower is the significance of the attribute. Okay, and usually we take the threshold as 0.05. Anything more than that is usually considered to be something which is not much significant. Okay, so let's see what are those which are more than 0.05. I see here BV ratio. I see that more than what I want. And let's see what others we have. I have something over here, the semi-furnished. This is again more than what I want. And the number of bedrooms, again this is something which is more than what I want. I'll keep this in mind and I'll try to move on. Let's try to calculate the VIF, and before we do that, let's try to understand what a VIF is. The VIF stands for variance inflation factor, which means there could be multi-collinearity existing between the attributes. For example, attribute 1 could be dependent on attribute 3, 4 and 5 together. I never know. It could be that the moment 3, 4 and 5 increase together, attribute 1 also increases. So that could be something which is giving me redundant data. I don't want so much of data. I don't want to make things complicated. All right. So to make things simple and to remove the features which are not highly significant, I try to calculate something called VIF. Let's try to see what a VIF is. VIF is nothing but 1 upon 1 minus R square. Okay. So now let's see. With this formula, it is pretty clear. The higher the VIF, the more are the chances of multi-collinearity. So I would like to have variables which are lower in VIF. Usually something lesser than 5 is something which I would consider as ideal, but that depends on scenario to scenario. Okay, so I have this method which takes the input data and the dependent column as the input, and it calculates the VIF. It first calculates the R square based on the stats model, and then it calculates the VIF for each of them. Okay, now let's try to calculate the VIF after I do the first model. Okay, I do a VIF cal. I did the input data as housing, and the dependent column is of course the price for the house. I try to see what the VIF is. Bathrooms is considerably high, and I had a high p-value for bathrooms as well. BB ratio considerably high. I had a high p-value for this as well. Area per bedroom, this is also considerably high. Let's try to drop my first attribute. Let's see what are the things that is considerably becoming high. Bedrooms, I see it as 0.5, and also I see a high VIF for that, 9.1. So considering both of them are pretty high, I would like to drop the um, bedroom first and maybe the BB ratio after that. Okay, so I try to drop the BB ratio first, and then I would like to try to build the model. Right, so I build the second model. Okay, so and this will be without the BB ratio. Okay, so now let me try to see what is the adjusted R square and the R square. Not much difference, it's pretty much the same. Let's see how the p-value changes now. Bedrooms, which was my suspect earlier, we see p-value has decreased, but not much. Okay, there's something which is a high p-value of semi-furnished, which is 0.9. Let's see what is the VIF after this. Area per bedroom, that's 14, and let's see, the square feet area is also high. So this is how it behaves. Now let's pick which attribute I would like to drop. I would like to drop here the bedrooms because of considering the p-values, but again it's completely upon the judgment of the person who is doing the modeling. In any ways, I do not claim this is the best possible way. It's just an attempt to build a best possible model. There could be many better models than this. So let's take bedrooms as our attribute to drop, because that looks like it's creating some noise over here. Okay, so I drop bedrooms. I build my model again on the data without the bedrooms. I try to compare the p-value. I see the p-value is pretty much better than before, except for one attribute, which is semi-furnished, and rest looks pretty okay. All right, let's see what is the VIF for this now. Okay, so I see the square feet area. This is creating a noise, and it's not much lesser than the others. Area per bedroom, this is something which I would like to drop first before the square feet area. Square feet area, I feel, is an important factor, because based on the area we try to predict the variables, right? So I would like to drop the area per bedroom first, then I would like to see how things behave. Okay, so I drop the area per bedroom. All right, now I would like to see the performance of my model. Let's see how it behaves. I see a pretty much improvement in the p-value, except for the one which is semi-furnished, right? So now let's see how the VIF performs. Okay, so I see the VIF has done pretty well. Most of them have reduced, except for the p-value of semi-furnished, which is pretty high. 0.9 is considered to be pretty high. I cannot live with this. Let's pick this variable as my next variable to drop. Okay, so now I drop the semi-furnished, and now I try to calculate the p-value. Things are looking good over here. All right, now let's see how the VIF behaves. Again, things are looking good over here. Okay, now out of intuition, I believe the basement is variable, which might not have much importance on the price of a house. This is completely out of my intuition, out of my knowledge of the data set. And so I would like to drop that as well and see what would be the behavior of my model. So I drop that, and now I see pretty good p-value still, and the R square is still the same, no much difference, and VIF is still the same, no much difference. Okay, so I think I can live without that as well. Okay, I would take this as my final model, and I would like to make the predictions for the house for the testing data set. For example, the text data set which I had split earlier, the 30% of it. I would like to drop the variables which I found are not significant, and then try to predict with the new variable. That would give me the predictions for the variables inside the test data set. Now I have the predicted variables for the test data set and the actual variables for the test data set. Using these two attributes, using the values of these two columns, I have the liberty to make a comparison how well my model is performing. We all know the lowest the R square, which means the lower is the difference between the actual and the predicted value, and the better is considered, my model is considered to be. Okay, so this would be one of the steps, just one example of how we do a linear regression. Feature selection is one of the most important part of it, where we try to have the attributes or the features or the columns which are significant enough and try to drop the others which are not significant. The reason being, we don't want to make a complex model. We just want to keep it as simple as possible to avoid overfitting and to perform well for an unseen data better than what we can expect. Okay, so that was about how to build a linear regression model. Thank you so much.